Good evening. Welcome to Saturday's Look North. A father whose son took his own life is now petitioning the government to introduce a Suicide Prevention Act. Suicide is the biggest killer of people under 35 in the UK. Steve Phillip from Harrogate has been telling Olivia Richwald about his son Jordan. Steve believes suicide should no longer be a taboo subject.
Jordan was, by most people's estimations, a good-looking lad. He was 6 foot tall and had a huge network of friends. He had a lovely girlfriend, a loving family. He had a great job. He was an officer with the Independent Office of Police Conduct. He had his own house. He was very much the kind of guy that his friends would look up to and aspire to be. But what a lot of people didn't see underneath, unfortunately, was that he was suffering from clinical anxiety and depression.
Jordan Phillip took his own life in December 2019. He was 34. His father Steve now campaigns to prevent other families from enduring the pain and loss that he still feels every day.
Before I go to bed, I'll come in and have a chat with him and tell him how the day's gone, and it's kind of just become part of my ritual and routine, I suppose. It's kind of important to me because it really does feel like I'm having a conversation with Jordan.
The Jordan legacy has one goal: to prevent people from taking their own lives. Steve thinks that a Suicide Prevention Act would help the UK move towards his dream of a zero-suicide society.
We lose 6,000 plus people every year, 17 to 18 people every single day. It's the biggest killer of young people under 35. All the research and evidence suggests that most suicides are preventable.
What would you say to anyone, Steve, who's worried about a family member?
We know to ask people, how are you doing, are you okay? But I think it's important to ask it more than once and really ask with a point of wanting to hear the answer as well. And I think if you have any concerns at all, you've got to be prepared maybe to ask the question, which is a really difficult question to ask, are you having thoughts of suicide?
Did you ever talk to Jordan about suicide?
No. No, and I think you know, when I look back and see the signs that I see now, there were clear opportunities where I could have asked that question. All the evidence suggests that, in fact, when you ask someone that question, you don't plant the seed in their mind. In fact, it's often a real relief that someone has finally recognised the struggle that person's going through. So potentially you will save a life by asking that really difficult question.
Steve now travels around the country, running workshops and speaking at conferences, spreading the message of suicide prevention. He's also planning a major conference later this year. Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, Harrogate.
TransPennine Express says it's now completed rail upgrades around York. Engineers worked over Christmas and New Year to install new points. Once other upgrades are finished, it's hoped the work will speed up services between York and Manchester by 34 minutes. After long-running complaints about services, TransPennine Express were taken under government control last May. Now, vintage lantern slides displaying classic children's stories are now on display at Leeds Central Library. They date from 1906. They were designed to be used on a magic lantern, which is a portable device that projected images onto a wall for an audience. They feature scenes from Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan and Aladdin, and are on display until the 17th of January. Let's get your weekend weather now with Abby.
Hello there. Well, thankfully the relentless rain has moved away, so we are now into a drier, more settled spell of weather. Tomorrow looks mostly dry, but it will be another chilly day. Overnight tonight we'll see cloud becoming rather widespread, quite extensive I think inland. Just one or two clearer spells further west, and here we could see a little bit of mist and fog and some lower temperatures. Under the cloud though, those of 2 or 3 degrees. Still chilly as we start the day tomorrow, a good deal of dry weather, but we could just see 1 or 2 showers. Increasing amounts of brightness though into the afternoon with highs of just 5 or 6 degrees.
That's all from us. Amanda's back tomorrow at 10 to 7. Goodbye.